breath of fresh sports.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of A Breath of Fresh Sports. I'm Courtney.
I'm LaRon.
And this episode is going to be for Eric B's Fantasy League, Week 8 picks.
Ooh.
But before we jump into that, we're at the mid-season mark with fantasy football. It's Week 8.
It's a make or break week for a lot of teams in our league.
Yes, sir. I'm included. I'm having a pretty down year.
I know both of us 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm having a pretty down year. I'm not really used to having a season like this, but it's not looking good for me to make the playoffs this year. Yeah, the injuries have really hurt me. Devontae Adams, Alvin Kamara, anyway. But I'm not even finna jump into that right now. We're finna go over our mid-season fantasy MVP picks.
Who's been balling?
Who we have as our mid-season fantasy MVPs, and you have to take into account what these players have been, the production of these players, when these players were selected in the draft and this and that. So, you have your fantasy MVPs. So, with that being said, you can pop it off.
All right. Well, my MVP, I'm taking Dalvin Cook. I mean, he first in scrimmage yards in the NFL. He has 9 touchdowns. I mean, he's been balling. He's been putting Minnesota on their back. When Kirk Cousins was struggling, he was the one getting the job done. Now Kirk Cousins come back around after the receivers kind of fussed at him. But he's been a steady Freddy. Dalvin Cook has been balling, man.
Yeah, he has in our scoring format, he has 175.6 fantasy points, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, that is good for 6th overall.
Ooh.
But he played Thursday, and everybody else hasn't played yet. So, but still, that's a great number right there. And with him being first in scrimmage yards, I mean, I will say that he hasn't had his bye yet, and Christian McCaffrey he's had his bye.
Yeah, he had a bye.
I think Christian McCaffrey is gonna take that spot back. But with that being said, that is a great pick, man. He had 175.6 points. He was in our league. He was a 2nd round pick. Yeah. We're a keeper league. He was picked in the 2nd round last year, and he was kept. He was a 2nd round pick, and even in if you look at ADP, some leagues he was going 3rd round.
Wow,
which is crazy. I saw this coming. Like I had the feeling like if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy,
that's his main thing.
That was the only thing, because he's great. Like he's a great running back, and I saw that they tried to make some improvement with their offensive line in the offseason. So I really, really wanted Dalvin Cook very bad this year. And I hated that the Blue Gotti boys kept him in the 2nd round. So
one thing I do like about him this year, he's been running with a lot more power this year. Remember, he was so much finesse. I was watching that Thursday night game because it was the only game. And man, he was running. He was breaking tackles. He was running through that hole with power.
Yeah. And he has that Alexander Madison, man. If we don't wish anything. We don't wish injuries on no one. But if anything was to happen to Dalvin Cook, I don't think that would miss a beat.
He would. He'll slide right in. They mimic each other.
Yeah, they look just alike when they run. Like he's. If it wasn't for all of those penalties on his great runs Thursday, he would have had over 100 yards rushing as well. Yeah. He had, I think, 60-some yards, even with all those penalties. He still had 61 or 66 yards, something like that. So. But yeah, Dalvin Cook, that's a great pick for a mid-season fantasy MVP.
He's been doing it.
With my pick, I was leaning between two. I was leaning between Christian McCaffrey. He has 156.3 fantasy points. He had a bye week last week. When he was on his bye, he was number 1 in scrimmage yards by far, because Dalvin Cook just passed him in scrimmage yards Thursday.
Yeah.
And, McCaffrey didn't even play last week, and he still hasn't played this week. So, I mean, matter of fact, he set the record for most scrimmage yards in the first 6 games.
Yeah, he been balling.
He had almost 1,000 scrimmage yards in 6 games.
He is everything for the Panthers.
So I think most people will pick Christian McCaffrey as their mid-season MVP. But
go ahead with the breaking news.
I'm not picking Christian McCaffrey. I'm picking the Patriots defense.
Woo.
Dude,
Bill Belichick.
They have in our scoring format. The Patriots defense have 159 fantasy points. That
is crazy.
1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. They are ninth overall.
That's crazy.
They're ninth overall in fantasy points in our league. And that's a defense. That's more than a lot of quarterbacks. That's more than all running backs except Dalvin Cook. They are the number 2 running back in fantasy football. The Patriots defense is the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football. Like, come on. If you're getting that kind of production from a defense on your fantasy team, like you're set up for victory from jump.
Your ceiling is, man,
I mean, just look
great.
at the difference between the defensive points. You have Patriots at number 1 with 159 points. You have the 49ers at number 2 with 94 points.
That's what,
65 point difference, man. 65 point difference between the number 1 defense and the number 2 defense. That's simply amazing. They have like 22 takeaways.
Yeah, they not missing a beat.
They have how many touchdowns? They have. Hold on, I have to.
I know they got 18 interceptions. They got at least about 6 touchdowns.
They have 5 defensive touchdowns. They 5 defensive touchdowns, 1 safety, 18 interceptions, 26 sacks. Mid-season fantasy MVP for me is the Patriots defense. I have them in the.
It's hard to argue with them because they've been balling and they getting it from everywhere.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore is looking like the number 1 cornerback in the league. The McCourty brothers are playing great. Van Noy, Jamie Collins, he came back. They getting it from everywhere.
Everywhere, man.
Then
the difference between the Patriots and and every other team, and the difference between Bill Belichick and every other coach showed when I think it was last game. Yes, it was against the Jets.
I know they play.
And the Patriots defense was balling. I think they had just got a turnover. And Bill Belichick had the whole defense surrounded around him, still coaching them up as if they're losing. He never stops.
You know why he was mad that drive? Then they had like 4 penalties that drive. Like they had like 3 pass interference penalties. Then they had like a roughing the passer penalty.
Yeah, man.
He never stops.
He never stops. Like just take that for example. Take what I just said with Bill Belichick and compare it to Jason Garrett when the Cowboys have a terrible defensive drive and they coming off the field and he's
now for America. He is a Cowboy fan. That's why he's mentioning Jason Garrett.
That's not the only reason why. I hate when people say that because it's not the only reason. I mean, I'm not a biased person. So, but if I wasn't a Cowboys fan, I most definitely would bring it up. So if I'm a Cowboys fan, if I see something bad, if I don't bring up what's bad about my team, then I'm being biased.
Yeah.
So I have to bring up what's bad about my team, and I don't like that about Jason Garrett. That's terrible. And Bill Belichick never stops. He never stops, man.
He don't. And that's a great thing. He wants perfection and he gets to have his players.
Yeah. So with that being said, we don't know who. I will have to catch up with Eric to see what his fantasy MVP, mid-season fantasy MVP will be. And I'll put that in the edit. So we're going to jump right into the fantasy picks for this week. The first matchup, we have Super Mario Brothers, my team, against Underdog. Yeah, man.
Can you change your name to Underdog this week?
That should have been my name for a while then. I started Kirk Cousins Thursday. He had a good game, NFL-wise.
Yeah.
Fantasy, he had 11.6 because he had 0 touchdowns. Only had 3 incompletions.
Yeah.
But he had 0 touchdowns.
He was running that ball good.
I started Kirk Cousins and I have Alvin Kamara in. Looks like he's gonna play. I have Nick Chubb against the Patriots. Oh God. Right now I have Brandon Cooks in. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about that because it's a great matchup, but Brandon Cooks hasn't been doing thing.
Gerald Everett has stepped up a lot and taken a lot of his.
He has more targets than Brandon Cooks. And I have AJ Brown, and I forgot to put my tight end in, but I only have one. I'm starting Eric Ebron at tight end. I have MVS in my flex, Josh Lambo in at kicker, and the Bills defense. Underdog. He need to change his name. Change your name, brother, to the favorite. Deshaun Watson, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones. He started Stephon Diggs. Thursday gave him 14.3. DJ Chark, Darren Waller, Royce Freeman, Harrison Butker, and the Packers defense. I know it's my team, but we can do it 1, 2, 3. We can pick 1, 2, 3. Underdogs. Underdogs gonna win. I mean the only way I can win this week is if he has too much firepower. Yeah. And I'm gonna have to depend on all of that firepower to have a down game, and it's just not likely. Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm projected to lose by a lot. I'm not even gonna. I'm projected to lose by a lot. Next matchup, we have the Le'Veon Brown Party versus the Legion of Goons. Is he the Buffoons? Or?
He's still the Buffoon.
He's still the Buffoon.
He had a win last week. Yeah. He's still gonna get the beating this week.
Yeah, he got his first win against me last week. I thought I pretty much going into that week I thought I was gonna lose, but I had a chance to win, and I had Kirk Cousins on the bench, and I started Carson Wentz. And that's what killed me. I would have won by more than 10 if I started Kirk Cousins, but I lost.
That little sly son of a gun. He put in Mason Rudolph. He had Josh Allen in. You buffoons, dog it.
I think that's a bad decision. But the Le'Veon Brown Party. He has Derek Carr. Okay, Derek Carr in, Le'Veon Bell, Derrick Henry, Larry Fitzgerald, Jarvis Landry.
I have to. Injuries.
Vance McDonald, Legion of Goons out here. I know how he worked. Devontae Parker, Mason Crosby, and the Rams defense.
Ooh,
yes, Rams defense. The Legion of Goons has Mason Rudolph, Jordan Howard, Joe Mixon. Ugh.
Oh, he's terrible right now.
He gotta be
cut the lights off.
He gotta be on the bench. I'm sorry. He's a must bench from now on. Until he shows something, you can't play him. Allen Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Gerald Everett, Kenny Stills, Hoshka at kicker from the Bills, and he started the Vikings defense on Thursday, gave him 12 points.
Wayne Haskins, throwing like Dwayne Carter.
He started Mason Rudolph Monday. I don't think I think he should start Josh Allen, in my opinion. I think he's reaching with that Mason Rudolph pick because he has Juju Smith-Schuster, and I think more importantly, he sees that he picked up Vance McDonald, and he's starting the quarterback. I know
just in case he gets some points with Vance McDonald, he gets some points too.
Yeah, but that's not no. And I know they're playing the Dolphins, but I think the guy that's going to have the big game is James Conner.
Yeah, he's going to eat.
And I think Josh Allen, here's Josh Allen on the bench. I think he's going to outscore Mason Rudolph. The Eagles defense isn't good against the pass. I already spoke about the Eagles.
Yeah, they struggling. Rasul Douglas, he's not good.
But let's see. That Joe Mixon pick right there. When he had Josh Allen in, I was leaning towards picking the Legion of Goons, but with Mason Rudolph in and Joe Mixon in, I'm gonna roll with the Le'Veon Brown Party. You're projected to lose by 6, but I don't really like that. I don't really like Derek Carr. I don't like Phillip Rivers either against the Bears, but I would roll with Derek Carr over him.
Yeah.
But I think you're gonna be able to do enough. to take this game. Jarvis Landry against the Patriots is going to be rough.
I really
Larry
don't want to start
Fitzgerald,
him.
I don't really know about
Keenan
that.
Allen hurt and Will Fuller hurt, and it's just Devin Singletary playing against the Eagles. They got top run defense, so I don't trust that.
Man, yeah. Then you got the Rams defense against the Bengals. I wouldn't be shocked if the Legion of Goons win this game. Because I mean, to be honest, I really don't like some matchups on both of y'all sides. But I'm gonna roll with you to take this game this week.
Good man. That's what partners all about.
Are you gonna roll with yourself?
I am. I think my team gonna do it. It's time for Le'Veon to have his biggest game of the season.
Okay. Next matchup we have Welcome to Hollywood versus Blue Gotti Boys. Welcome to Hollywood has Gardner Minshew, Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon. I'm sorry, Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Zach Ertz, Tevin Coleman, the kicker from the Cardinals, and the Steelers defense. That's a good one.
Nice. The
Blue Gotti Boys has Russell Wilson. He was another guy for running for fantasy MVP. Let's check Blue Gotti Boys team out because he has a few players that could be fantasy MVP. He has Russell Wilson. You got Carlos Hyde. He has Dalvin Cook, Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas, Hunter Henry. He's starting James White in the flex. Robbie Gould at kicker, and he has my fantasy MVP right now, the Patriots defense.
Oof. I'm gonna take the Blue Gotti Boys easily in this matchup.
Yeah, me too.
Russell Wilson against the Falcons. I like Carlos Hyde against Oakland. Tyler Lockett, the Bang Bang Falcons.
Michael Thomas against the Cardinals. Yeah. Even though Patrick Peterson's back, but yeah, he's still been getting the job done. And you said before we started recording, Drew Brees it's official that he's playing.
Yeah, so that's gonna help Michael Thomas a lot. But he been doing his thing
anyway. Yeah, anyway, he's just having his scoring touchdown. Yeah. Michael Thomas against the Cardinals, Hunter Henry. I know they're playing the Bears, but I think he still be able to do good. And Patriots defense, we don't have to speak much on them. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, Blue Gotti Boys.
Blue Gotti Boys, yes sir.
Zeke and Cooper combo versus Quickie. He changed his name again. Light skinned friend.
Change the name, but ain't changed the game.
Zeke and Cooper combo has Jared Goff. He started Adrian Peterson on Thursday, gave him 10.3. Sony Michel, Kenny Galladay, Cortland Sutton, Austin Hooper, Golden Tate, Fairbairn at kicker, and the Texas defense. Quickie has Drew Brees. He's starting Drew Brees. He got the news. He's going to start him. He just acquired Chris Carson in the trade. He got Phillip Lindsay, T.Y. Hilton, Calvin Ridley just acquired in that trade with Chris Carson. Ty Johnson, Chris Boswell, and the Jaguars defense.
I'm going to take Quickie. I think, if Drew Brees feel like he's healthy, then I think he's going to play good. They playing the Cardinals. I like Ty Johnson can do decent. I really like Chris Carson against the Falcons. Phil Lindsay can have a good game. T.Y., Calvin Ridley. It all depends on Matt Ryan is playing with him. Mm-hmm. And I like Cameron Brake this week with O.J. Howard being out. And, Boswell, they should be able to do something against the Dolphin defense. But I really like the Jaguars. I think they're going to eat against the Jets. Sam Darnold, they give up the second most points in defense.
Mm. Yeah, I'm going to pick Quickie as well. I know the Rams are playing against the Bengals. That's a great matchup. But in my opinion, I would start Matthew Stafford against the Giants. They lost the Lions lost Kerryon Johnson, and I think the Lions are going to lean on the pass more. And the Giants, they're not going. I don't think they're going to be able to stop that.
I mean, Chase Edmonds just had 126 yards and 3 touchdowns to the Giants. And so you can do things on the ground against them. Yeah,
well, that would be with Ty Johnson, which Quickie has. He has Ty Johnson. But, I would start Matthew Stafford over Jared Goff this week. And it's crazy because in our scoring lead, Jared Goff is projected 21.89. Matthew Stafford is projected 21.89.
Wow.
So,
how do you see that?
Right, they projected the same amount of points.
I actually like Stafford more this week too. I think it's gonna be a big Ty Gurley game. I think they're gonna run it down the Bengals' throat.
Yeah, I would start Stafford, but I think Quickie, man, he's been making some moves.
He's quickly making some good trades.
People have been, I don't know, man. We need to change from EBFL Fantasy League to Help League. People been helping, helping these players that are in trouble with injuries. You know, Quickie, he had Kerryon Johnson. He went on IR.
And same day he gets Chris Carson.
And you know, when that happened, his only healthy, reliable running back was Phillip Lindsay. That's it. That's all he had. So, and instead of the rest of the league, just like, kicking him while he's down, which is what you're supposed. This is fantasy football. You're not supposed to help the next man.
Right.
Instead of doing that, someone goes out and gives him Chris Carson. He gets Chris.
His team look better than her team.
He gets Chris Carson, and he was number 2 on waivers, which, he shouldn't have been able to get Ty Johnson at number 2 because the number 1 guy should have been, he should have snatched Ty Johnson up, but he didn't. He snatched up Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills was a good pickup.
Yeah. I'm
not finna sit here and say Kenny Stills was a bad pickup, but taking into account his team,
I really have to run it back.
And I would have picked up Ty Johnson and started Ty Johnson over Joe Mixon. Yes, Joe Mixon needs to be on the bench.
Joe Mixon looking terrible right now.
So
he running like Joe Namath.
So the same day, or maybe it was the next day, I don't know, but when he lost Kerryon Johnson to that injury, he immediately got Chris Carson and Ty Johnson to replace him. Now he has 3, reliable running backs. And now he get Calvin Ridley immediately after Mohamed Sanu gets traded. Mohamed Sanu was getting 15% of the target share in Atlanta. Now that's gone.
Yeah.
Now all of it is not going to go to Calvin Ridley. They have Julio Jones and they have Austin Hooper, but still, some of it is he's going to get some of it. He's going to get an uptick. He's going to get more snaps. He was only playing like, I think they were saying like 60-some% of snaps. That's going to go up. He's going to play. He's going to reach into the 80%, the 90% of snaps now. He's going to get more targets. If you play more snaps, you're going to get more opportunity. Yeah. And he get him in a trade. And Chris Carson is going to, like, the EBFL Fantasy League is now the Help League.
Nobody wants to put their foot on somebody's neck.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Quick is going to win. I think he just got too much now. His team is looking up. He started out pretty bad, but I was telling him I started the season 0-4 and I made the playoffs and won in the first round and made it to the second round. Like, you can't give up, and he ain't given up. He ain't gave up yet. So, and it looks like he's probably gonna make the playoffs.
He get rewarded for it.
I think he's gonna make the playoffs, man. So. Shout out to you, Quickie, light-skinned friend, Antonio. You know who you are. Shout out to you.
All those AKAs.
Yeah. Next matchup, Magnificent 9 versus Hurricanes. Magnificent 9 has Tom Brady, James Conner, Chase Edmonds, Marvin Jones. He started BC Johnson.
Yeah.
Is that his name, BC?
Yeah.
BC?
John Doe.
Gave him 2.7. Yeah, I think he was reaching with that one. I know Adam Thielen was out and he was saying that, this receiver is going to be next up from Adam Thielen, but I think that was a reach.
Got to wait and see.
He has Travis Kelce, Deontay Johnson in the flex. He started Hopkins, the Redskins kicker, on Thursday, gave him 10 points, and he's starting the Colts defense. I like that start. Hurricanes has Ryan Tannehill, Ty Gurley, Josh Jacobs, Julian Edelman, Chris Godwin, Evan Ingram, Robert Woods, Will Lutz, and the Titans defense.
I'm going to take Hurricanes. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Ty Gurley will have a monster game. If Josh Jacobs is decent healthy, he's going to eat pretty good. Julian Edelman, he gets Chris Godwin back off a bye. Evan Ingram gets the Lions. I like the Titans defense against James Winston. And Will Lutz, he's been eating all year. And I think it's going to be a big game for Robert Woods.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm going to pick Hurricanes to win this game as well. This is a good matchup, man. Magnificent 9 is 5-2, Hurricanes 4-3. Yeah, I think Hurricanes are gonna win this game. The 2.7 from BC Johnson is gonna hurt. Um, I like with Chase Edmonds. He gave him the big points last week, but I don't see that this week. The Saints have a pretty good defense.
Yeah, they do.
They have a pretty good defense, especially against the run. I know the Cardinals defense. I know the Cardinals offense can move the ball. With Kyler Murray. And what they do with that offense. But they're playing in New Orleans.
That's why I was a rookie quarterback in New Orleans. That crowd is gonna be rocking.
Playing in New Orleans, and I don't think we should expect another big game from Chase Edmonds this week. And with Ty Gurley and Josh Jacobs, and I like Ryan Tannehill this week. He picked up Ryan Tannehill because he has Lamar Jackson on the bye, and then he had Matt Ryan, who was injured. Now, I don't know if he's gonna play. It looked like
he's expected to play, but he doing right not starting because you never know how that goes with injuries.
Right, and he's finally benching Devonta Freeman. Yeah, man, I think Hurricanes gonna get the job done this week. Move to 5-3. What did I do here? Next matchup, final matchup. No, it's not the final matchup. Oh, it is final matchup. Mrs. K Hunt versus Boss Hog in the Lane. Miss K Hunt has Aaron Rodgers, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Jimmy Graham. She started Terry McLaurin in the flex, which is a rookie mistake. Zerline at kicker, and the Seahawks defense. Boss Hog in the Lane does not have his lineup in. But let's see. I say that was a rookie mistake on starting because you never start someone in the flex that play on Thursday because you just never know what's going to happen during the week before Sunday. Yeah, she has Hopkins and Hill, but you just never know something could happen to where she would need to bench one of those guys and she may not have another wide receiver that she wanted to play. It may be another running back that she may have wanted to put in, but now she doesn't have that flexibility because she started someone in the flex on Thursday. You never start a person in the flex on Thursday. If it's an early game, you put them in the position spot. That's a rookie mistake, but I don't know who Boss Hog in the Lane gonna start.
I know he has George Kittle, he has Sean McCoy, Matt Moore, he has Marlon Mack, Julio Jones, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Williams, and Tyrell Williams.
I don't know which receivers he's gonna put in.
We never know.
He's gonna start Marlon Mack and Shady. He's not gonna start Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, he's gonna start George Kittle.
He's gonna start Julio.
49er defense. Yeah, he's gonna start Mike Nugent, kicker. And with him, you always gotta look at who played late.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna start Mike Williams because Keenan Allen is out.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that being said, I like even with that 3.9, I like Miss K Hunt team. Ooh, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill. Even with Mahomes out, I still think he gets some kind of value with Matt Moore.
Yeah.
Saquon. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna go out masterfully. I like Jimmy Graham. See how defense. If Matt Shaw plays, Mr. Pick Six himself, to see how defense should do lovely. Austin Eckler should do good, and I like Greg Delay. He always does good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Miss K Hunt too. I think Miss K Hunt gonna take this game. You've already given all the reasons. Aaron Rodgers, Austin Eckler. I know they're playing. The Eckler is going against the Bears, but the position that beats the Bears is the running back position. Yeah. You can beat them with the running backs, and I'm not sure if he's gonna play Mike Williams because of they're playing the Bears. I don't know. He may. Let's see. Yeah, Julio. He may be forced to play Mike Williams unless he put in Sammy Watkins or Emmanuel Sanders. So, but yeah, I think Mr. K Hunt is gonna take this game. Probably see another big game from Aaron Rodgers.
We know you go for setters later, Joey. We know.
Saquon against the Lions, Hopkins against the Raiders, Tyreek Hill, Zerline always kicking it. Seahawks defense. So yeah, man. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or nothing like that. But I think Miss K Hunt take this game and go to 4-4. which I need all the 3 and 4 teams. I need them to lose because I think I'm gonna lose. I'm 3 and 4, so I need them to lose. But yeah, I think she's gonna win this week.
Yeah.
That being said, that was the last matchup for the fantasy league picks. Appreciate y'all for sticking with us this far.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Tell us y'all mid-season fantasy MVP picks. We want to know what y'all think. Who y'all think should be the fantasy MVP at this point? Appreciate y'all for sticking with us this far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And until next time.